Hello and welcome back to Starfish Point. My name is Nedman, I'm the founder of Nedman Industries, and in this series I have an unlimited budget playing on my very own custom map just to build the city of my dreams. This is our marina that we've been working on, and it caused a bit of a stir in the last video because I began building it, I've changed it a little bit to a different kind of theme, and I just didn't like it initially. I just got a bit of creator's block and decided that I can't continue until I've sought some advice or had a little think. And that's exactly what we did. We sought some advice, we had a little think, and we've come to our conclusion. I'm feeling a bit more in the zone today, so what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and stick with this Mediterranean theme, and we're going to try and somewhat make some very good progress on this section that we're working on. So fingers crossed, unlike the last video which was a bit of a disaster, to say it nicely, we're going to try and make this quite a good looking area, make some good progress instead of just placing a few rubbish little buildings down, and hopefully we'll be able to implement some cool things as well, and as a whole we'll make a nice little island section that we've got going on here. Yeah, so let's discuss plans. So plans wise, this is kind of what we did in the last video. We added these Mediterranean style buildings here along the side, and which, to be fair, if you look at it from this sort of level, it looks really good. We can't deny that these buildings, they do look fantastic. We're not going to lie, they look fantastic. There's just a little bit of work that we need to do around this to kind of make it work. It seems a bit dull and a bit bland, so we need to add some assets, decorations, etc. We need to decide what we're doing with the roads, the coastline, and all that good stuff. As you can see, I've laid out a load of Mediterranean assets over here. Again, I'm struggling to find the centerpieces. They don't quite match up, but we'll pick and choose the right places for those, and hopefully once we've done that we can make this into quite a nice looking area. Fingers crossed. I'm praying. So yeah, looks pretty alright. A lot of work to do, which we'll cover in this video. It might be a bit of a long one, but we're going to make some progress. And yes, those of you that are thinking that this looks like a certain part of the body, grow up. I mean, it does, but grow up still. I didn't laugh when I noticed it, but once we change the shape and build it out a bit, and it'll look a bit better. I'm deciding to probably reduce the size of this square area, just lengthways. I'm going to reduce the size, cut it down a little bit, and go from there. So that's going to be kind of the plan for today. But the first thing that I want to do is, it does look a bit concretey, I must admit, and I would quite like to add some little bushes alongside the centre of the pedestrian pathways, just to add a little bit of greenery, because it's just a bit bland, isn't it? It's a bit bland. So that's what we're going to do first. So I would quite like to add some small palm trees. I'm not sure which ones, and I don't know why my cursor's gone a bit skew-if either, because when I'm trying to place it, when I'm like this, it doesn't sit quite right. But some small little palm trees just kind of between these lampposts. I think probably that'll do, to be fair. It's a little baby one. Just to give it a little bit of life, because at the moment it is just concrete jungle everywhere. It's not really what we want. We want a little bit of greenery. Adding the palm trees will add a little bit of a tropical vibe-ish to it. Nice sunny hot weather. So that's what we're going to do to begin with. Just add a few along the edge here. We're not going to go too crazy. Oh no, we're going to have to adjust the land a little bit, but it just adds a little bit of greenery, which is always good to have. So we'll do this all the way along. We're going to have to do a few adjustments here and there just because the terrain is slightly lower due to the keys, but nevertheless it will work a treat, hopefully. Okay, we've added a few trees, which in my opinion it does look a little better, just having a little bit of green here and there, which is good to see. The next thing I want to do is I want to just reduce the size of this here. So what I want to do is I probably want to bring this back. I think a reasonable size would be probably around there, I reckon. So we're going to reduce the size of this to about here. I'm going to do the same with this side. We've just got to be very careful because this is actually just an extended surface from one of the buildings. So we've got to try our best not to delete it. So reduce that size by a decent amount. We're going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of these buildings initially, just like so, and then we're going to pick up all of these like that. Get rid of all these pathways too, and then we'll pick up all of these hedges that we've placed down here, like that. Good. There's reason for this. I want to try and change the design slightly, just so that we can implement a few vehicular roads as well as pedestrian roads. So I think we'll probably get rid of this footpath too. Yeah, I think that's fine. We could even change this road. Oh, not fire. Oh, God, I was wondering why it was so bright and it's just decided to catch fire. Well, let's hope we've got some helis that can help. If we don't, then we're in a whole world of problems. So my thought process was potentially if we had a 4-lane divided avenue kind of as our main sort of through route through here, just kind of like linked onto the top end of this section here. So if we actually just do potentially hook that on somewhat on a 90-degree angle, and then that can kind of curve round and out and up that way, and at least we have some sort of road connections here. We'll obviously decorate this with some trees because we need the trees, because the trees make a big difference. So we'll do that. We'll just pull that out a little bit longer, just so that we've got an idea of where it can go, not necessarily where it will go. Just like that. And we'll just pop those back in here as well. We'll change the trees to some Royal Palm illuminated, which we should be able to just hook on like so. There we go. And what we'll do as well is we'll get rid of our pedestrian traffic lights here. We don't need the traffic lights, that's a bit over the top. Good, right. And then we need to grab our pedestrian road and the little one, this one, and we want to draw that out and connect it up to here and to here. Just like that. Fantastic. And then adjust this surface slightly so it reaches all the way out to our main road. Perfecto. Like that. And then we want to grab these little trees and just finish off essentially what we started here with just a few trees there. And then the same just on here between the lights. Potentially we could whack a few in here as well, like that. Fantastic. And then we just want that green grass surface again in here. So what I can't even speak. What I would quite like is to have this, technically a police station, but it looks more like a palace, government building sort of thing. We want that nice and central to this kind of walkway area that we've got going on here. So we just want to try and line it up a little bit. It's good. This pole is a little bit annoying. There we go. That should be a pretty central. Yeah, I think that's probably as central as you're going to get that, to be honest with you. That's not too bad at all. And it just, although it technically is a police station, it it's quite cool. It's relatively nice to look at. I'm debating whether we run this straight up and past here though. That, and because there's kind of vehicular entrance at the back, we might have to use an actual road out the back here. Just like that, and we'll link that up a little bit later on somehow. Just add grass and trees just to make it look a little bit nicer. At the time of me recording this, the bikes update is going to be released pretty much imminently. So I'm just trying to get a video out before that gets released, because it's probably going to break my game, and by the time the game fixes I'm going to be back to work for quite a few days, so I won't be able to record, which is annoying. So I'm just trying to make the most of this moment that we've got going on here. Good, right, that looks better. Let's add a few trees in these sections. So should we go for this one? Nice adult trees, probably thing like this, just fill out this greenery a little bit, like that, and then fill out this like that. That looks cool. Do we want to do this potentially? Then we can still see the building at the end through the middle, can't we? Because not put the trees in the middle. That's okay. I think that's reasonable. Yeah, no problem. It's just so annoying how the game's not optimized to register these trees until you're really close to it. It's really annoying because it makes it look a bit rubbish, doesn't it? I think that looks relatively alright. I might actually get rid of these pedestrian crossings in the middle, like that. Get rid of those traffic lights. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. A little bit better. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, so we've added a few adjustments here. So as you can see, this is looking a little bit more alive now. If we look at it from a distance, you can see it's kind of like a central square food area slash, I don't know, maybe a memorial area or something like that. And then we've got this thing in the middle. Don't know whether we want that yet or not, so let me know what you think. We've got some nice little food areas for people to sit and eat out in the square. Looks really nice. We've put some pots along here, bollards along the outside to prevent any unwanted vehicular traffic, a few fountains. Along this end we've got a few kind of water areas, water pools, with benches, and then more bollards along the centre. We've got the trees and the hedges looking pretty nice. And then over at this top end here, we've simply bollarded off the pedestrian only zones just so that no cars come down here and interrupt our lovely food dinners that we'll be having. But it's quite a nice looking area if you ask me. I think it's quite cool. It'll be quite nice to come and chill and sit down there, walk down onto the bay. I would say that's quite a decent looking little addition, I think. I'm somewhat happy with it, I reckon. I think I'm happy with it. Yeah, why not? So the next thing that I want to do is add a ferry terminal here. I want it though at a right angle kind of thing, so that when you come in you have a view straight up into the kind of town. So in order to do that I might have to get rid of this initially, and then I will need a road, surprisingly, that comes out at the correct angle, probably here, or maybe that's probably as far as it's going to go, I reckon. If we just grab hold of that one, like that. That's at a... Ooh, that's a bit weird. But we don't want it... The problem is we can't have it as a key. That's why it looks strange. We can't have it as a key for this one. For some reason or another, it just doesn't like it. So the best way for us to do it is to have it like this, which is not ideal, but it is what it is. So we want that to hook up onto this road here, like that. So then that's connected in, and then we might be able to do a few adjustments, potentially with these keys, etc., and hopefully link them in. Just so that it doesn't look a bit weird. I can't really explain it, but we just want to somehow maybe link that, something like this, and then we can fill in that land around it. Doesn't really do it because it's technically not a pedestrian key. It's a little bit annoying, isn't it? A little bit annoying. What are you then? You're just that with a key. Right, let's try and see if we can just do this with a key. We grab you and we turn you actually into there, like that. Let's try and mess around with this a little bit. We want that to be a key that side. We don't want it to be a key this side. Like that. Oh my god, it's horrendous. Yeah, I'm going to have to mess around with this bit, I think. This is going to be a little bit more difficult than I initially thought. We're making a little bit of progress. Not the best progress, but it is a bit of progress. So we've hooked this up. Got a nice straight entrance in, which will eventually link up to something up here. Got this implemented. We've had to boulder off some of this because the terrain goes a bit funky when you're trying to do whatever we're trying to do here. But no problem here. And I'm thinking, I wonder if it'd be cool if we lowered this terrain down a bit and had this kind of end bit as a bit of a beach, this terrain a bit higher. I wonder if that would look cool or not. I wonder if it would look any good. Ideally, I'd like parking on one side, but I don't think it's going to let me do that because you're only parking on one. See what this does. So we want the parking on this side, which it does not want to do. Like that, but we want it to be straight. I don't know why this doesn't do it. I mean, technically that still fits there. Although it's not ideal, to be honest with you, at all. Even if we just kind of went with that. No, that looks rubbish. What about if we key the end off? I think it still looks rubbish. Yeah, no, I don't think that's going to work. Even if we... No, I don't think this is going to work for us, unfortunately. So we just messed up all the roads now. Yes, sir. So I'm just working on this terrain to potentially see if we could maybe turn this into a bit of a beach area. So we're just going to have a little mess around with it, see what we can kind of muster up. It might be the case that it just doesn't quite fit well enough, and if it is the case, then it is what it is. But there's no harm in trying. So we're just going to do that, give it a bit of a go, smoothing it out a little bit, Just kind of see what happens, to be honest with you. It would be nice if it did work. It's just a matter of, well, whether it works or not. Simple enough. And I wonder if we could potentially hook this alley. Want it to go down. Potentially like that. Have that kind of as the possible way into the beach. Possibly. Because we ideally want a little bit of car parking or similar down in this section, but I'm not sure if we're going to be able to implement any, to be honest with you. Even if we were to maybe pick a very fine line here, just a nice, maybe a nice straight-ish line like that. Just do that for now. We won't worry about that too much. Let's just see if we can fit these little parking spots slots in there. One of those and one of those. That's 3. We move them a little bit closer together. Just like that. I did see something else. I wonder if maybe like a small gravel parking would that look better, do we think? Should we see what it looks like? It's always worth a little look. I mean, the problem is you can't really tell that it's parking. I think that's the problem with that one. Quite difficult to be able to say, oh yeah, there's some parking down there, instead of, you know, whatever it's actually meant to be. The idea is good, but I don't think that's quite right for us. I think these are probably the best bet. We're just going to whack those in there. Do that and that. That's going to be a little bit annoying, so we might actually just shuffle them this way, so that it's not overhanging too much. And then the next thing we need to do is try and hook this road up to there somehow. Okay, so let's bring you down with a little bit of a curve. Like that. See if we can hook that into there, hopefully. I mean, it doesn't look great. And that all goes weird as well. Oh, this game. We're making progress with our little beach down here. Hopefully, in the near future, it'll be somewhat near enough complete. But it is looking a lot better than it was. We've added a few different textures and all that good stuff, so I'm hoping that it will look alright. Fingers crossed. Who knows? It might not, it might do. The little entrance to get onto the beach is down here. And then we got some fences, a few other decals, etc, just to kind of make that look a little bit decent. I'm debating whether we try and put some of these underwater things through as well, just to make it look even cooler. Potentially just to whack on like along the perimeter or something like that. I think it might look pretty cool if we did that. We might give that a go if we can potentially blend it in a little bit better. Something like that maybe. A little coral little area. Nice and blue. Nice blue waters. Actually add a few of these in as well. Just like this, just to give it a little bit more uniqueness, because it's kind kind of standard water at the minute, really, isn't it? So a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Something like that would be pretty decent, I'd say. Not too overpowering, but it does the job. Can even whack that one in there, a little one in there, and see if we can squeeze just a little one like that. And I think that looks quite cool. Once it starts getting used, it will look even cooler, hopefully. But I think that's a nice little addition to the shoreline there. No problem at all. Now we just need to build inwards, essentially, and hopefully make this look okay. I'm still desperately trying to find a spot for this train station, because I think it just looks really cool. It's a nice looking asset. I think this is probably going to be the spot, to be honest. We can just run the tracks through and then get rid of the tracks out that way. I don't think it's going to be any major problem doing it this way. We just grab that and hook it in down here, and then that one can spin off back to that angle. Should be alright, and then we can just decorate around that to make it look a little bit more blended in, hopefully. That'll make it look a little bit nicer. I think this will come together once we've done. It's just a slow process, because we've got to somewhat be particular about how we're doing it. But we'll keep on persevering, and hopefully we'll manage to get some sort of alright looking area out of it. You never know. Fingers crossed. That's going to be a bit of a weird connection there as well. Okay, so more progress has been made. It's coming together relatively well now. We've just added this little bit here. Just another kind of plaza park sort of area, filled in some of the gaps, and it's coming together quite nicely. We need to fill in this little gap here, and we also need to start, well, we need to figure out how we're going to fill that gap in, and then we'll start probably placing houses alongside the back here. So yeah, we are making progress. It definitely looks so much better than it did before. I feel like we've really made some decent progress here at the moment. But yeah, I've managed to condense about 2 hours down to 27 minutes, so we're doing well at not plaguing this with loads of me mumbling and placing buildings and deleting them. So yeah, all is well, and we'll continue to do what we're doing. I actually really like it, so all is well. So we're progressing quite nicely. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to phase this down into lower density, because I don't really want to go much more of this theme. It looks really good. I think it's come along a long way from the struggles that we were having to how it kind of looks now. I'm really happy with it. I think it looks fantastic. There's a few more details here and there, like this corner part plaza sort of area that I've added. A few more buildings along the way, and then this pathway park sort of area alongside the water, and then we've just added a little couple of buildings over this way and added a few roads out. So it's difficult. I would like to try and branch away from these buildings now and build lower density, but it's just going to be really difficult to implement straight away, I think. So we're going to have to try and mess around and kind of see what we can come up with in order to get this blended in properly, because it yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I need to find some decent sized houses or whatever to put down here, and then we can probably phase them out into smaller ones, because at the moment it's going to be absolute chaos trying to blend all of this in. I'm tempted to maybe just do one more row of these just along there, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that will be enough of these specific types of buildings. But maybe we'll try that first. Maybe we'll just bring a nice straight line there, and then we can fill in this gap with the style building still, and then we'll phase it down to low density residential down this area. I reckon is probably our best bet. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I'm just gonna try and connect these roads up. Then people can actually start moving in, which would be nice. So we'll probably bring that down to there and then just get over a little bit to about here and that in there. Hopefully it's not a central avenue like we want it to be, so we'll just adjust that slightly like that. And then we want to essentially bring this one probably just straight down, I reckon. Straight down into here. Like that, a nice straight road, and then the same over here, just a nice straight road that goes in there. Fantastic. We might dump a roundabout. Oh no, that one could be a roundabout, that should be alright. But that one's not quite the right shape to become a roundabout. Change this back up to Central Avenue or Central whatever you want to call it, Central Reservation. There, good, good, good. People might start moving in now, actually. I think, well, basically all of these are residential. So maybe people will start moving in a bit, which will be exciting. So then, got that going across there, that across there. But obviously got the trains. So we basically need to start placing down some houses, placing down some more roads, and then hopefully maybe that will start looking alright. I don't know why that's a key. Why are you a key? You should not be a key, you should be elevated. That. Fantastic. Everything else is elevated. Oh, that one's not elevated. How was that? Go. Bridges are a go. So I need to try and find some assets or houses, whatever you want to call them, and decide whether they fit the theme here or not. I've set up a few train routes, just a few short ones, one that goes out, one that drops in here, and then one that goes all the way into the city centre. I just thought I'd do that just so that some trains start moving around, we get a little bit of movement, people can get to it a bit easier as well, because it's a bit of a pain to get to at the moment. So I've just implemented a few of those. Hopefully we should see some trains at some point. It's going to be very busy on this central section here, isn't it? Really, really busy. But that's just something that we're going to have to monitor and maybe change in the future. So as you can probably see, I've expanded out some of the residential out to our main road out the back here. It looks alright, it's not too bad. It's a little bit clunky coming from those Mediterranean buildings down to the residential, but nevertheless I think it looks really good. I'm happy with how it's kind of turned out. It looks like we filled the space pretty well. Pretty solid straight roads there, especially down this section though. This is definitely the best part with the Mediterranean buildings. So all of this bit here, all round, wow, you get some cracking views when you look at it like this. I think this is really, really nice. And yeah, just going around here, we've got various different buildings which we've recoloured the roofs on, added some keys along the sides all the way up to up there, as you can see. A few trees, pathways between them, and a few connections with bridges, etc. I think it looks pretty decent, to be honest. So here we have it, our basically new marina. Finally actually managed to pluck up the courage to finish it, and I'm really happy with the way that it's turned out. I think it looks really, really nice. The implementation of the Mediterranean pack certainly does look fantastic. I would have liked a few more buildings within that pack, maybe a few more service buildings, maybe parks, something like that. But nevertheless, I think it looks really, really nice. The buildings along the waterfront really kind of fit the theme. It's nice that there are different shapes, although majority of them are corner squares. It's nice that there's a few circles in there as well, which certainly helps. And just having it sat on the side of the sea with the marina, the nice turquoise blue water, it is fantastic. I really like the way that it's kind of come together. The next step with this area is we need to implement ferries. We're going to need to put some ferry stops along the quays, along the outside, which would be good. We would benefit from putting a subway within this area as well, linking up to our metro system. And yeah, just various other things. We also need to put a ferry depot down as well, because we can't actually produce any ferries at the moment. But I think it looks really good. I'm happy. It definitely looks like somewhere that you would visit on holiday. Have a nice relax, pull your yacht in for a bit, sit outside the square, the plaza, have some nice seafood, and then have a little walk around, hop back on your boat and disappear. But yeah, let me know what you think. I'm really happy with it, so let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.